Hi, everybody. It is episode 568 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. I am Chris. With me, Drootin.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you guys doing?
You know, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that is accurate. So this is actually going to be probably a very short episode, at least comparative to other episodes. Because I got a bunch of stuff I have to do for this fucking house.
Somebody decided to move house and decided to have an appraisal come up the day after we record instead of like a few days after or something like that.
So I have no say over that. That's the bank.
Sure, whatever.
Like, we found out on Tuesday that it was scheduled for Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then I also have the certificate of occupancy inspection coming from the township. So, but because our buyers are FHA, there's a bunch of stuff we have to make sure is like...
Oh, yeah. FHA loans and shit like that, they're insane. They're insane. The needs that are required of both the buyer and seller are insane. I guess.
Specifically, it's the basement, like the all the beams and everything in the basement were like painted at some point, and like the paint's just old, so like it's chipping in a bunch of places, and that will immediately get declined by the appraiser if we don't clean it up.
Which is crazy to me. Like, why does it matter if the paint is chipping?
Well, so it actually only matters in houses older than like 1980 or something like that. Because they don't take into account when the paint is from. It's based on the construction of the house. And houses pre, like, I want to say it's actually 1978, but let's just go 1980. It was always lead paint. So chipping lead paint is a health hazard.
Yeah.
So that is why. Even though, like, the paint in our basement is definitely from, like, the last 20 years, not the last 60, or 50, it's still just one of those, like, well, fuck us.
Yeah.
So yeah, yesterday I spent the day down there like sanding all the spots that I could get to. And then most of today I was down there like painting by hand the areas that like we couldn't get a roller into. And as soon as we're done here, Erica and I are going back down there, and luckily the other half of our basement, it's more open. So we should be able to use like rollers to kind of just like go across it fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully tomorrow there's no like major issues that the appraiser finds and we get declined or some stupid shit. Because
right,
like our house is currently under contract and we are under contract for another house. So like everything kind of has to go smoothly for it to like all happen at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah. With that said, let's get to it.
Moving house is fun.
It's fucking something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not really worth doing an agenda this week. We are just going to talk about the book club. And then maybe if you guys want to, Drew, you also went to an F1 arcade, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of True Lies?
I thought they could have cut out 45 minutes of that fucking movie. Easy 45 minutes cut out of that fucking movie.
Probably.
No, like that's all set up. You need all that.
You don't need all of that, though. You don't need all of that. It was obnoxious. It was more than half the fucking movie was about his jealousy of maybe his wife is cheating on him. And the fact that he's a shitty father and husband. Like...
But, I mean, that is the plot of the movie.
It was bad. It was...
Like, the terrorists are arguably the subplot.
Yeah, and
This is a family, like, comedy action film.
Was it a comedy?
I thought things were funny.
I didn't really laugh at... I don't think I laughed at anything.
Well, you have no sense of humor. So.
No, I have a sense of humor. I didn't really, like... You know what I laughed at? I laughed at, like, the plane taking off from a standstill. Which, modern day, maybe they can take off from a standstill. They can definitely land straight down back then, but they could not take off from a standstill. They still needed a runway.
No, I'm pretty sure the Harrier jets could still do that.
It takes a lot of...
That is
that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more fuel to take off from a standstill, though, and the amount of fuel they probably would have had left at the time. I don't know. It just seemed it was dumb, and I didn't really find it funny. Like, this was, to be 100% honest, the first Schwarzenegger movie I have seen where I was like, this is the worst Schwarzenegger movie ever, and I never want to watch it again.
You're the worst.
And I've watched some of his like comedy-based like kids movies and shit, and I was like, this is good. I've never seen Kindergarten Cop though. I don't know, maybe that one might be bad, but no, I don't think it is. Like, I don't know. This movie didn't click with me. I was off. I went into it not realizing that the plot was a family drama comedy, comedy.
It is actually listed as an action comedy.
Yeah.
It's got Tom Arnold in it.
Like, I went into it expecting action, and then half the movie was this just stupid subplot that, like, drug on so much. Like, they pull you in with the plot of the terrorist, and like that's where I'm like,
but
I want to know how
the subplot. The terrorists actually don't factor into it until the end. The plot of the movie is actually the relationship between Schwarzenegger and Curtis.
Yeah, and that I don't. It didn't click with me. Like I want to watch. I didn't watch any trailers for this movie. I don't think I've ever seen any trailers for this movie. I want to watch the trailers and see what they show it as.
Oh, they definitely showed just the big action things. Like, this was like...
It's supposed to be an action comedy movie based around him stopping terrorists, not this whole stupid subplot of fucking... What's his name? I don't... Who was the actor that was playing the douchebag guy?
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yeah. Fucking Bill Paxton.
And he was so good as that scumbag.
I won't say he wasn't. But like that whole scenario just took too long.
It's literally the plot of like that is the actual plot of the movie. You just wanted a different movie.
Yeah, I would. This movie
40
just didn't
minutes
click with me.
And better.
Yeah, like that plot point of yes, that may be the plot of the movie, but that's not. It's A, not what I was expecting, and B, it was done poorly. They could have done it better.
I loved it. I think this movie is great.
I don't know. I feel like they could have done that whole thing much better. Like, honestly, in my opinion, to bring this around full circle to make it better, don't make Bill Paxton just some random fucking guy who's trying to hook up with chicks. Make him, like, actually just inadvertently be someone who is part of the terrorist network.
I mean, they could have done that, but at the same time, like, I feel like that's what makes it, like, for me at least, that's what I found funny, was like, she got lured in by this guy claiming to be like a secret agent, when in actuality, it's her husband who she just thinks is like this absentee software or computer salesman who is actually the secret agent.
Yeah, and instead they could have had it be where Bill Paxton, because I'll get into, like, here's the thing. The midpoint of the movie when Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis kidnapped. How do the fucking terrorists know where they're at? How do they know any fucking thing about this? Well, you know what? Bill Paxton is a terrorist. Boom. He was tracking Arnold Schwarzenegger the whole time. That's how they know what's going on. No, that explains it all. Boom. There you go.
They were tracking Schwarzenegger since he was at the place. They still thought he was that whatever the guy that he pretended to be when they were trying to buy like artifacts or whatever.
Did they reference at all after he went to buy the artifacts that he was being tracked?
I'm like 90% sure they did.
I don't think they did. I don't recall seeing after the chase where Schwarzenegger attempted to jump a fucking horse across buildings,
which was awesome.
I don't recall at all them mentioning anything about the terrorists. I don't recall it at all, because Schwarzenegger goes and meets with the woman. They then get followed by the 3 terrorists. He kills the 2, gets in the chase with the other one, and then the whole rest of it is he goes to have lunch with his wife, and she's meeting a mystery man, and he finds it out. And instead of doing, the fucking healthy thing of, hey, I stopped by your work today and I heard something, and like not even waiting till lunch, just walking up after hearing that. It's like, what's this about a mystery man? Can we have a discussion and talk about this?
That's not how entertainment works. You know that. They can't have regular communication in a movie or television show.
I know, but it's just like it was
that would literally ruin the plot of everything ever made if people just communicated.
I know, but it's still like to an extent with this, it's just like you're a fucking spy, and like he did all this shit, used fucking government resources to tail his wife, who had nothing to do with anything of a fucking terrorist plot, while actually supposed to be tracking a terrorist plot. He's absolutely fine. He got to steal a plane and shoot up a building, get in zero trouble. He's absolutely fine. No one cares.
Well,
and now his wife
the
works
terrorists
for them.
from launching more nukes.
But the abuse of all this power that he used to track his wife
is very realistic to today's American government. This could have been a documentary.
And then the entire fucking awkward as hell scene where he's having her dance in front of him, half naked, and then has her laid down, close her eyes, and he starts flirting with her with a rose or some shit like that. I literally, at that scene, I was walking around, like, cooking breakfast and stuff like that. I had zero care in the world about this movie.
I will say, that scene is weird. I do appreciate that, like, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is, like, not actually having it and beats him with a phone as soon as she can.
Yeah. But then the terrorists just pop out of nowhere again and kidnap them all. Where did they come from? How did they know? Like, it was inconsistent. They had this plot, this C plot with Bill Paxton that they could have
that was part of the A plot.
But he was the C. He was a C plot character. He was a side character that had that all he was there for was to be a hook, and that's it. And they could have used him better. They could have made him part of the terrorist grouping and be like, oh, he was actually tracking Schwarzenegger from the beginning because of whatever, and he was doing this on purpose. And they could have made it comedic until the big reveal at the end when they're kidnapped and he walks up and he's like, yeah, I knew the whole time.
No, see, I don't like that. I prefer him just being like this sleazebag that they made pee his pants twice.
I thought the peeing pants bit was... I thought it was fine the first time, but then at the very end of the movie, I was like, no one's going to clean that up.
Well, I mean, it was in his pants, like... I'm sure he sat down or something like that afterwards and just wallowed in his own filth.
The pee is going to dribble onto the floor and shit.
I know, that's why I said he sits down into it.
No, he ran off.
Did he run off? Oh, yeah, he
runs off. And then he's probably has pee dribbling down all across the... No one pays any mind to this fucking waiter running off, afraid of two people?
No, why would they?
The party just goes on like nothing?
You've never been to a fancy party, obviously.
No, I've never been to a fancy party, but I've never actually been to a party where a waiter ran off either. So I don't know how people would react, but people would probably be like, what the hell's going on there?
Nah, not rich people. Rich people don't give a shit about the help.
Like, even, like, the beginning sequence, he does all good, and, like, he's good at escaping, and he's like, I'm just gonna go out the front gate. And it's like, alright, that makes sense. He's gonna distract them with an explosion and go out the front gate. And then the guy stops him, and he's like, oh, here's my thing, boom, knocks the guy out, and then starts fucking running into the snow, and not towards the gate, away from the explosion. Where he could have easily gotten away by just running from the explosion as somebody who, you know... is running from an explosion at this fancy terrorist party.
Then where do we get like the fun like intro montage action scene of him like fighting bad guys through the forest until he can make his way to the getaway car?
Cobb, it's not an action movie. It's an action comedy. We don't need that.
You need action in an action comedy.
But that's the thing. That's not the main plot of the movie. So why do we have it?
Because it's fun.
So we could cut it out then, and we could get to the point of the movie and build up the relationship between him and his wife.
You don't like the plot of the movie. That's actually the plot that you liked.
That is the plot I liked, but that was the plot that also didn't... That part of the plot didn't need to be there. It's what I'm saying. They could have cut out easy 45 minutes from this 2 hour and 20-minute movie. They could have cut out
2 hours
easy.
and 20 minutes?
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
141 minutes long.
Man, it didn't feel that long. It felt like maybe 2 hours.
It felt longer. It felt they could have easily cut out at least 45 minutes from this movie. Made the whole jealousy cheating plot a little bit shorter. They could have cut out the crazy driving in a van montage at the very beginning. They could have cut that down. Like there was a decent amount of stuff they could have cut out to make this movie at least sub 2 hours.
I mean, you could say that about most movies, though. Really,
yes, that is true and an accurate thing.
You can, yes, but like when you're talking, this was a '90s film, like early '90s,
94.
Right? That was 94, so mid '90s. Like we're talking, this is almost as long as Titanic, which was 99, 98,
97,
97, almost as long as Titanic. And
but this was also like a peak era for Schwarzenegger. Like 2 years prior was Terminator 2.
Yeah,
like he was getting thrown in a lot of stuff around this time and just seeing what sticks. So I want to say, like, within this same period of like let's say like 5 years, from like 89 to 94, or 90 to 95, whatever you want to do. Like you have like Twins and the one where he has a baby. You have this one. You have Terminator 2. There's another like just like heavy action movie in there that I'm drawing a blank on. And I want to say like within a year or two after this is when Jingle All the Way comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And then like
Jingle
within
All
the next
the Way
few years,
than this. Jingle All the Way easily a better movie than this.
I like this better than Jingle All the Way.
Mm-hmm.
But and then like he definitely tapers out shortly after that, because then it's, you know, he does one more Terminator movie, a handful of other things, and then he becomes the governor for 10 years.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, Calvin. That's the main plot of the movie, but it's just because of the way they built the movie, where it was sandwiched in between this terrorist plot. It felt like it was intended as a subplot that took way too long and way too much time. And like, there's a terrorist organization that has 4 fucking nukes. Let's spend 3 days tracking my wife who's cheating on me.
Look, man, he is not the only secret agent. There should have been other people tracking those guys.
Oh, 100% agreed. A mega organization, or whatever the fuck it was called, should have had more people on these fucking nukes. And Mr. Eyepatch should have, like, respected the fact and need to, like, do something about these fucking nukes at the beginning of the movie. But like it was just too much of a stupid shit. Like how did they get his daughter to Florida in an hour and a half when everyone was already in Florida?
We don't know that it was only an hour and a half, do we?
He found it. All right, so arguably could have been within 2 hours.
So Tom Arnold at the point where Tom Arnold tells Schwarzenegger that they have his daughter, he specifically says they must have grabbed her sometime overnight.
Yeah, they find they don't find that he has a daughter until they pull him into a different room and get him drugged. That drug, arguably, yes, we don't know how long they were drugged for, or he was drugged for. We don't know how long between the time he was given the drug and the time he breaks out. But immediately after he breaks out and gets to the main building is an hour and a half timer. And Tom Arnold's already in Florida when the bomb is there. So how the fuck does he know that is well, he knows because it's like, oh, they have one hostage.
It's a 2-hour and 11-minute flight from DC to Miami.
Yes, it's a 2-hour 11-minute flight from DC to Miami, but and they had an hour and a half with the bomb set. So like it doesn't fully connect, because how did they know to go to that specific building and hold her hostage in that amount of time as well? And like, it doesn't click with me. The connectors aren't connecting, because like, yeah, they find out he has a daughter, but then they fucking kill him, or they think they killed him. What's the point of having his daughter at this point? He's dead.
I'm pretty sure I think they already had the daughter, and at that point she's just a hostage.
They didn't have. Again, it is a little ambiguous. Like, we don't like he finds the picture of the daughter. And then in the movie time, it's 5 minutes between the time he finds the picture of the daughter and when they set the bomb for an hour and a half. we don't know how much time is within that 5 minutes. True. But it just, and it just doesn't, I don't know. It just was, there wasn't, I really don't think there was enough time in the night to do that. To go kidnap her.
We don't know what time everything started either. Like, we don't know what time they grabbed them from that hotel. It could have been 8:30.
But we know that they were already in Florida. Every one of the criminal organization that was this terrorist organization was in Florida when they found out he had a daughter.
Except for,
No, every one of the criminal terrorist organization was in Florida.
Didn't What's-Her-Face leave? The lady that, like, wasn't really part of the organization?
She was in Florida with them.
Thought she left after they got dropped off.
They were all in the Keys. And so then now you're telling me that she took 4 hours, 2 hours to fly back to DC and 2 hours to fly back to Florida to get to not have the daughter in the Keys and to drop her off in Miami and then get to the Keys and be on a car that crashed into the ocean?
Yes.
No. It just...
Also, you are trying way too hard to make timelines work in a movie. Timelines in movies never actually work.
They do, though.
They don't. Like, if you really stop and think about it, they almost never actually work.
None of it,
You didn't like the movie, so you're trying to find more reasons why it didn't work.
No, there's the thing, I can suspend disbelief in movies. I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, the Terminator, a time-traveling robot coming back from the future, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all fine, but, like, this movie is when the movie is supposed to be grounded, an extent like this, there is a need of reality in a sense. It's just, I don't know. It just really didn't click with me. That whole the whole cheating section was just too much. It was too much. They could have built that in with less than an hour.
I still think you're nitpicking the timelines.
I could be. I don't know. It just, to me, it just didn't work out. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. None of it really. It just...
In my opinion, travel in movies almost never does. Because they're always going places way quicker than realistically you'd be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you want to talk about things not making sense, I just double-checked this. You know in Terminator 2, John Connor is only supposed to be 10 years old?
Really?
Yep. So he was born in 1985, and that movie takes place in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Edward Furlong was almost 20. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. Was like 15. He would have been almost 20 if the movie came out in 95. But yeah, he was a teenager playing a 10-year-old. So, time. It doesn't actually
but that always happens in movies. You get teens and adults playing you get teens and adults playing younger. That always happens.
Oh, I mean, like the amount of times you get like a fucking 42-year-old playing like a 17-year-old in a movie, especially back then.
Yeah.
It's like, you look like you could have been a teenager once in the last 20 years.
Right.
It's good enough for us. But yeah, I don't know. I like True Lies. I've always liked True Lies. I think it's like a dumb, fun movie. Like, it's not an over-the-top action movie, even though it has some over-the-top action.
I thought the funniest part was the guy being shot on the rocket through the building into the other helicopter that was circling the building. That I thought was hilarious, to be honest.
I mean, that is one of like the standout like funny things in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of Arnold like quippy one-liners that like don't like the cheesy quippy one-liners. Like there's that scene, and there's the scene during the bathroom fight where he tells the guy to like cool off or something like that when he slams his head into the urinal. And
then he tells the guy who's been in the other stall just sorry or whatever as he's leaving.
He apologizes to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this movie doesn't have a lot of those like one-liners, but it's got like just some like dumb funny stuff. Like in my opinion, at least, like the horse, him like berating the horse for not taking the jump. It's like, what sort of officer are you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good. I like this movie. I've always liked this movie. It's silly, but we should probably pick another one. Do we?
So,
do we have any ideas for a theme?
I don't have an idea for a theme, but hear me out. We have in the last 6 weeks watched 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, one in the 80s and one in the 90s. We are doing a disservice of not watching a 2000s Schwarzenegger movie as part of our decades.
Are we though?
I think there's only one.
So The Sixth Day is from 2000. Collateral Damage is from 2002. We've watched Terminator Salvation in the past, I believe.
Well, Terminator
That
3.
doesn't that well Terminator 3 is 2003.
Salvation also doesn't count because he wasn't really in that one.
Yeah, he's not really in it. But yeah, I think we need to do I think we just need to do a 2000 Schwarzenegger movie if there are any. That it's a hear me out. I'm not saying we have to do it, but it's just like I was like, look, we did Schwarzenegger movies for the 80s and 90s. What about for the 2000s? Apparently, he's uncredited in the rundown. I did not realize that.
Yeah, he's got cameos in 3 movies.
Oh, here we go. It's 2010, but still, The Expendables.
I mean, he's just a cameo in that.
He's more of a character.
He doesn't actually show up until
too.
until the second one.
So it would really only be the Sixth Day or Collateral Damage, and I don't know if either of them are available anywhere.
I'm looking right now. Or Terminator 3: Rise of the Machine.
Have we watched that? We haven't watched that one yet. No. So yeah, we could do Terminator 3. But we've done apparently two Terminator movies during all of the book clubs, but it's been a while since we've done Terminator.
Actually, so that one also, like, none of those movies are just available places. Actually, wait, hang on. What?
Also, we did do, well,
No,
it might have been before,
Terminator 3.
episode 359, we talk about Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine.
Because you watched it. Remember,
oh, right.
we did a Terminator, and you were watching all of them after. So we watched Dark Fate, which was not good. And also Genesis, I want to say we watched. And you went back. I don't remember if you watched the first one or not, but you definitely watched Terminator 2 and 3, and I think Salvation.
Yeah, but I mean, they're all 2 is great. Terminator 2 is great. All the other, 1 is pretty great.
Yeah,
too.
one is good. One is just a different movie. Like
then after that,
but yeah, there are actually no Schwarzenegger starring movies in the 2000s that are available without like rental fees and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, everything else that he's got a movie called The Kid and I, which is I don't know what the hell that is.
Well, that's as himself, and it's a cameo.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the? Oh no, that's a different. I thought that was that Bruce Willis movie where like him as a child comes to make him less of a shitty person.
Nope, it's apparently a Tom Arnold comedy movie,
which explains why Schwarzenegger did the cameo. You know, they're old friends from True Lies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could watch a 2010s Schwarzenegger movie. He's done a bunch of them since then. Like,
yeah, I mean, we could
escape plan.
We could go with like Expendables too. Like we could do, but again, that's not within the 2000s era that we did. So that would be the point was to fit in the 2000s era. So that's all. No worries. We could figure out a new, or I mean, the new topic could just be Schwarzenegger movies.
Well, that's actually why I was looking to see if there were any other Schwarzenegger movies. But like, other than the first couple of Terminator movies, like his shit is just not streaming on like. Oh, actually, is it on Peacock? Maybe. Okay, so 2013 Schwarzenegger movie, The Last Stand. I have no idea what this is about. Is available on Peacock.
2013.
A sheriff takes matters into his own hands when a notorious drug lord escapes from FBI custody and speeds towards the showdown in a sleepy border town.
I vaguely remember this. It's fucking Johnny Knoxville's in it.
Oh yeah, look at that. I
vaguely remember this. It looks dark and gritty.
I have never seen this movie.
Neither have I.
I mean, we can watch a bad Schwarzenegger movie.
6.3 out of 10 according to IMDb, so not terrible.
Yeah, kind of middle of the road. And it's at least on something that I believe we all just have Peacock, right?
Yeah.
I think so,
It's less than 2 hours.
Well, yeah, we can do that, and then we can try to discuss and figure out a new theme. This way, even though it's 3 years later, it still gives us a 2000s era Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Yeah, and if at some point any of his 3 movies from the early 2000s are available, we'll swing back around.
Yeah.
All right, so the next book club is going to be, what was this called again?
The Last Stand. I remember trailers for this. Like, I don't think I ever saw it, but I do remember trailers for it.
Nice.
I think, this is supposed to be more drama than anything, not even comedy or anything. This is starting Knoxville's attempts at being like a legit actor. Oh, dark comedy, okay.
Yeah, I was actually just looking it up to see like what it was.
Yeah.
Action thriller is what Wikipedia calls it.
IMDb they have a bunch. It's contemporary western, dark comedy, action, drama, thriller, and western. So,
I mean, judging by the movie poster, is Schwarzenegger coming out of the back of what appears to be a school bus with a chain-fed machine gun, and Johnny Knoxville standing behind him wearing what appears to be a bathrobe, a pilot's cap, and goggles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this was him trying to be serious, if I'm being honest. But
yeah,
it's also got Forrest Whitaker and Peter Stormare.
And a director that I've never heard of before.
Yeah, a Korean director who's done stuff I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, we'll watch The Last Stand in 2 weeks. Actually, what's 2 weeks from? Okay. I may be MIA on the 30th, depending if we have internet or not. Because our closing date, assuming nothing goes wrong, is the 29th. So
and that's a month from now. We can record it sooner if we need to.
So realistically, that week is just going to be crazy because the 29th. So we close on this house to sell it, and then 2 hours later go to close on the new house to buy it, and then move out of this house.
Mm-hmm.
So like on Monday, my computer is getting packed up. And then like if we have internet like on Tuesday or even like early Wednesday, like I will be able to record on Wednesday. But who knows with utility companies.
I live alone again. We could all just come over my house and record.
That is true. But also keep in mind, I am moving the day before.
That's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. There's no worries. We'll figure it out.
It is several weeks away. We have several episodes before then, so it's not a big deal. I just want to throw that out there before I forgot to say something later. But in 2 weeks, we'll be watching The Last Stand.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to say this. That's my birthday week shows, the 30th. So, like, you guys want to watch Shin Godzilla?
No, but I guess we can.
My birthday's on the 3rd, which is a few days. It's 5 days after the 3rd.
Also, you're an adult. You don't get a birthday week. Come on, man.
Well, that's the week of my birthdays. Well, technically, it's the book club before my birthday. It's the week of my birthday, even though my birthday's a Sunday. It's the best book club to fit that in. And I was like, I wonder if Shin Godzilla is still available anywhere. I might have actually rented it.
Wait, did we not watch this?
No, we watched Godzilla -1.
At the moment, it doesn't appear to be.
Hell, I may just buy a copy of it and have us be able to watch it. I'll look for it. I'll figure it out.
Weird.
That's a couple weeks away. We'll look into it.
Because that used to be on Netflix, didn't it?
No, that was never on Netflix. I don't think.
Well, that's dumb. But yeah, okay. Well, I have a few more minutes. Drew, would you like to talk about the F1?
Yeah,
F1 arcade, right?
Correct. It is the third one. It just opened like a month or two ago in Philly. It's right basically on the corner of Chestnut and Broad. So they do watch parties for all the races. So me, Sarah, my brother, and a bunch of friends went over to watch the race on Sunday. And they happen to actually know the head chef or whatever there. I forget his exact title, but so we got a hook up on food, which the food was actually like insanely good.
Nice.
The breakfast burrito might be the best breakfast burrito I've ever had. And the potatoes that came with it are insanely good, and I would almost go back just to have the food.
Did they open at like the ass crack of dawn for like the early races?
Yeah. I mean, so they have a watch party for whatever race that's coming up that's at 6 a.m. and they're open for it.
I was going to say it makes sense that they would have a breakfast menu for the fact that most races take place on the other side of the country, or other side of the world, I mean.
Yeah. So, and the one we went to, the race started at 9 a.m., so doors were at 8 a.m., and it was $30, and that gets you. They have a whole bunch of like simulators, well, kind of simulators. They're definitely not as insanely high end as some people's like racing game rigs I've seen, but have like an F1 style race wheel and pedals and a nice wide screen in front of you. And So for the $30, you get to race on the Sims for the entire time. Like you can be on them while the race is happening. Most people were on racing in the Sims for like the hour before the race, then just watching the race, and then there was a little time after that people were jumping back on, and they did a little trivia thing after the race, and it was pretty cool.
Nice.
I would probably go back for one of the ones. It's weird that like there's different prices for the different races. I'm like, why aren't these all $30? Why are some of them $50? What? It was like, huh, that's weird. But I guess like the one that starts at like 6 a.m. It's like, okay, well they probably have to pay a little extra getting people in at like 2 in the morning or whatever to set up for this shit. But it was weird that like some of the ones that are 8 a.m. it's $50, but the 9 a.m. was $30, and it's like,
yeah, I wonder if it's
Are-
just are they open normal? Like you can just go in there on like a non-race day and like
yeah, and then they're open. You know, what is it? It's like noon to midnight or something. Otherwise,
yeah, so maybe it's like a staffing thing. Like if they have to get people in there early, they charge more to like offset the extra payroll.
right? Like, but then there were ones that it was like, okay, this is later than normal. You're already open. Why is this more than the one that was at a time you're not normally open?
Okay, yeah, no, then that's just I don't know. Maybe they base it off of like how popular they expect a race to be.
That's possible. Although now that I'm looking,
they're always on the
at
weekends,
them,
aren't
but-
they?
Yeah, it's always Sunday. Sometimes like super late Saturday, depending on
Time zone
where.
stuff.
Like the Vegas race, I think is like 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday or
So
on a Saturday, but
It's probably I'm trying to look at it's probably you know what, it's the earlier it is, the cheaper it's going to be most likely, because they're trying to get people in. Whereas the later it is, they want people to come in, but they're already open, so they don't need that watch party to incentivize people to come in.
I think Drew just said that an 8 o'clock one was like 50 and a 9 o'clock one was like 30.
Yeah.
I looked at an 8 o'clock one that was 30.
okay, then the pricing's been weird. Like we
And
definitely all looked.
I looked at the 9 o'clock one I'm looking at is 50. So the one this week on Sunday at 9 o'clock is $50. So it's definitely a staffing expectations. Probably it's based on so much, because it's probably like the one I'm looking at is on a Sunday. They're mostly on Sundays. It seems.
Yeah, they're almost the one exception of Sundays is Vegas, because that happens at night on Saturday.
Yeah. So like it's the fact that even that hour does make that difference, but 8 o'clock is 30 and 9 o'clock is 50. It's probably a level of like staffing expectations and how late it's running into the day to how much space they need to push aside or whatnot for the watch parties. And it could also just be like the 9 o'clock one is the Qatar Airways British Grand Prix, whereas the 8 o'clock one on the 27th is the Monet and Shandon Belgian Grand Prix. So it's probably just dependent on like the bigness of the event, or of the event.
Yeah,
the August 3rd one is $30, and that's an 8 o'clock start.
Sounds like a cool place though.
Yeah. It's neat. And it seems like if you go like not during the watch parties where it's just on a like free play loop for the Sims, you can set up a username and all, and it'll like track stats and stuff for you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then like, the Sims had like 5 different difficulty levels of increasing, or well, I guess like decreasing amounts of assists, and the race line, et cetera, all that kind of stuff. So it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, seems pretty cool. I like me a good racing sim.
Yeah, like I said, the food was legitimately really good.
No, look,
way better than I expected it to be.
I'm not saying you have to do it or anything, but my entire family is going away starting the weekend of my birthday. I will be home alone. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And there's definitely a race on my birthday. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I feel like I could convince people to go again. If it's a $30 one, I'm sure people would consider going.
Question is, can I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go watch F1?
No, you can't.
No, I can barely wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So actually, I'd be more inclined to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to an arcade event.
But you still won't.
I don't know. We'll see.
You'll wake up at like 8:15 and go, never mind.
No.
But I think that will probably do it for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really got anything going on this week. Took it nice and easy and lazy.
Yeah, I mean, and last week was a nightmare for me, and this week is just hectic as shit. So
yeah,
I got nothing.
Yeah, last week not great.
No, not even remotely. But with that said, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All those things help. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And we are just at onequest.com on Blue Sky. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Rich, what does your streaming look like?
Twitch.tv/B_1. It's for video game streaming Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We have a little bit more left of Pokemon Platinum. We finished off the whole Team Galactic storyline and got the 6th or the 7th gym badge. So we just got to get the last gym badge and do Victory Road. We're at 168 out of 168 Pokemon caught. So come hang out and try to make me catch more Pokemon. Otherwise, the event ends. Other than that, I'll be starting playing Slime Rancher and a bunch of other LGBT games because of the fundraiser we did, or the charity event we did a couple weeks ago. Sea Thieves, all that good stuff. Probably not really Monster Hunter because they're not releasing content fast enough. So there's no reason to play it right now, which sucks. But yeah, so come hang out with me on Twitch. Apparently people like my video about Monster Hunter and how it's disappointing.
I agree. It is disappointing. But with that said, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.